Still alive, you can't get rid of me. Here I am, recording live from Macquarie University Hospital. I feel a bit weird.
Completely alive, I'll say that.
Welcome to Multiple Nerdgasm with your hosts, Matt, Luke, and Dan. Multiple Nerdgasm, your guide to all things nerdy.
Well, this is what it takes to be on this show, by the way. If you're wondering why there's only three of us now, it's because one of us didn't have the fucking guts to do what Luke's doing right now.
That's right, yeah. You're saying he was hospitalized?
I'm saying he was in some sort of institute. That's all I'm saying.
I can actually call out Matthew Perry now for being a bit of a bitch.
Oh, yeah, I saw that today.
Wait, what?
They announced
there's
his
new news?
cause of death.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, what was it?
It's what Luke's doing right now.
It's what I'm doing right now.
What, on purpose or just like special case?
Yeah, it's part of his treatment.
Well, they said so. I mean, he was in a hot tub, so presumably they weren't giving him his treatment in a hot tub. I think it sounded like what happened was he'd been on a treatment for it, and he had some because of it. And I don't know whether because it doesn't say like he overdosed on it or anything like that.
No.
My reading of it was he was in the hot tub having a bit of a cheeky go of it, which is not something you should do.
So he had one of Harrison Ford's old hot tubs, is what you're telling us.
So
in other words, it was exactly what everyone thought it probably was. He was in a hot tub getting high and he drowned.
Yeah, but it was more of a prescription issue than people gave him credit for.
Okay, but he was taking prescription drugs outside of the prescripted.
Alleged,
we're not sure.
Yeah. The articles were very careful.
When you go home, do they just give you a packet of ketamine and just say, just be careful with this?
Just don't use this in the hot tub.
They do not. In fact, even when they change over the syringe that they put in, they go, there's two nurses here at the time, and they'll check my name. A key.
They've got to turn it at the same time.
Pretty much, because it's locked away. I can't touch it. I can't get to it. And every 2 hours, I have to check my blood pressure. I have to wear these for oxygen because my oxygen levels drop. And
could you get like a fake vein installed that leads to like a little bag? Oh my god! Have you seen?
For later.
This is a YouTube thing now. Some guy made it's a backpack that he uses. This was done for research purposes, right? He doesn't actually do this for theft. He built a backpack that's hooked up to a fake cup from a movie theater.
Yeah. And
you can go in and just use the soda machine and just fill the backpack up with soda, and then leave.
Amazing.
Yeah, very funny. So do something like that.
Friend who used to be an expert shoplifter, right?
Really?
And one of his he had a few great things, and he had an artificial leg. So that was helpful, right? That was very helpful. He just dropped things down the leg. But one of his great things was that he would go into a 7-Eleven and he would go and get himself a jumbo slushie, right? Fill it up, and then go around and drop things into it because things just fucking disappear into a slushie, right? So he'd be just dropping in cherry ripes and whatever, pair of sunglasses off the thing, and then just go up to the counter, pay for his jumbo slushie, and leave.
See, I'm not going to go with a friend with this one. I'm going to go with something I did when I used to go to music festivals. Remember when I used to wear that leg brace that was on like the outside of my leg? Yeah. You could fit flasks down that.
Yeah. No, I remember
instead of paying for alcohol, you just throw a few flasks in the leg and away you go.
Well, a lot of places, a lot of venues, you can't bring alcohol into
at all
now, so that would be very helpful. But I also seem to recall at one stage you had a cane with a flask in it.
Yes.
Which you brought to school?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
My drinking has been going for a long time.
This is a friend of mine who I won't name. I think I might have told the story in here before, but we went to the gas station or where I forget where we were exactly. Some store that had the Trading Post and copies of Playboy and such. Mm-hmm. And he said, "Watch this." picked up a copy of the Trading Post, which is what, $3.50 or something at the time, or maybe even $1.50.
No, not even. The Trading Post was very cheap. Yeah.
Grabs a copy of the Trading Post, picks up a Playboy, slips it inside the Trading Post, and then kind of folds it up, and then goes up to the counter and just goes, "Oh, just a Trading Post, thanks." And the guy goes, "Sure, just hand it to me, and I'll take care of that." And my friend's like, "Oh, it's just the Trading Post. I'll just get the money out of my pocket right now." And the guy's like, "Yeah, just hand it to me," because there's quite an obvious gap.
Yeah.
in the and then the guy grabs it from him, and the Playboy falls out. And my friend's like, "Oh, how'd that get in there?" And I was like,
"Yeah," because I'm sure he was the
that was a good one, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks for teaching me that. Yeah,
you're so cool.
Yeah.
Good one.
You don't go Playboy. Playboy was too big. You go Picture or something. Picture was a bit smaller.
Or Dingo. Remember Dingo?
I do not remember Dingo.
No,
I remember Picture and People, but I don't. And American listeners, it's not People magazine from America.
Imagine something those, different. But trashier.
Wow.
Dingo.
Trashier than Picture.
Picture had like that grainy comic book paper.
Yeah.
But Picture was basically like a magazine where you, at the back, there would be like sending pictures of your girlfriend.
Yes.
Naked.
Yeah.
And even at the front, it wasn't professional models. It was just somebody's girlfriend who could get more money.
Now we just have the internet.
Just before you think we're being derogatory, it used to be called like pictures of your girlfriend. Like, that was the whole thing. My grandparents used to have picture magazines under their they had a coffee table with like magazine slots, and there were picture magazines under that because my uncle, who I guess still lived at home and was maybe in his early 20s, used to have them and just have them there. But I can't imagine being at my parents' house with that kind of magazine. And don't be wrong, people, they weren't grotesque. They were very tame by today's standards.
It's not family friendly.
Yeah, I wouldn't be like, "Oh, Mum, when I just pop this picture magazine on the coffee table?"
Yeah, so they were like, "Okay, just a quick whip around. We need all the magazines in the house in one place. I've decided."
Right, yeah,
all of them.
It's tidier that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, that's a start to a podcast.
How are you feeling?
We should have started there.
I'm tired, and my dreams are very vivid.
Ooh, I want to hear.
Don't remember them though, but I just know that they are quite strange.
Well, if you doze off during this and happen to have one, we'll ask you immediately if you
excellent.
Wake up.
Oh yeah.
If you wake up during the show, I mean, not if you know what I mean, not just
yeah.
So I don't know if I'm going to make the full episode, but we'll see.
Well, let's front load this then. Have you watched Carl Jobs' new video?
Yes, I did. I watched a few people because I watched his response and then I watched the video.
Yes.
Oh.
So there's an update. I thought on the charity
his response was a bit of bullshit.
It was fucking ridiculously bullshit. I can't believe it, to be honest. So we talked about this the other week. There was the alleged charity fraud with the Open Hand Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Do we still have to say alleged? I thought it was pretty much proven.
I would prefer to. Carl Jobs is just fucking...
He's just straight out going
pull his guns out blazing at this point because Gerard threatened to sue him and Carl was like, "You know what? Fuck you. I can prove all this."
Oh, okay.
For me, for us, I think it's still the money was still there, which is the whole weirdest thing about it all.
I'm not willing to go all in just yet. I have faith in Carl, but
I didn't steal the money. My bank account stole the money.
So I don't know. Did we mention this last week? They donated $600,000 finally.
Yeah, no, we didn't mention it.
Finally did.
Okay. And a lot of people
to
disappointing.
Who they were meant to, or
no, just a different place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still in the spirit of
in the correct. Yeah.
Nothing dodgy.
Yeah.
It's still dementia research, but it's not any of the places that they said they were going to when they were collecting the money, which is what the fucking problem is.
Dementia research?
Yes.
Why wouldn't you just claim you forgot? Oh, mate, I forgot.
So Gerard, aka the completionist, made a response video, and he basically said, "Sorry if you felt like you were misled," which is the thing everyone keeps pointing out. Is like that's not how you apologize.
I'm sorry,
but he also incriminated himself
by what I did.
He also incriminated himself in that video because he says, we just hadn't found. We wanted to make a restricted donation. We weren't able to do that. We were holding on to the money and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, you're missing the point. The problem is you've been telling people for 9 years that you're donating the money and that you're working with these various foundations, and you're not. And that's
not.
And Carl's, saying that's called charity fraud.
Yeah,
you're just sitting on the money. So,
like, you're constantly saying this money is going to be going here, it's going here, it's going here. Yes. We're raising it for here, and then just keeping it.
But not only that, in the response video, Gerard said, sure, some of the money went to cover the costs of running the fundraisers, which is bad because he explicitly says, and Carl's new video shows 10 minutes or so of him saying, all the money's going to charity, we're not touching any of it. So
there's even a few segments of him saying, like, I personally paid for
I paid for everything. Yeah.
There's no need for a lie like that because people assume charities take their fundraising.
Well, it's suspicious, even more suspicious now. Because why would you?
Well, the other suspicious thing about it is, remember, because I actually spoke to him before this all went live, and he said he only found out about this in 2021.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's changed that now.
And now he's always known that they were keeping the money to hold off to it, so they found exactly where they wanted it to go. And it's sort of like, doesn't look good.
It's not really how a charity tends to work, though, is it? It's like, look, we'll do a fundraiser, we'll see how much money we can get, and then we'll see what charities might need this money.
I understand sort of what he was saying, because basically what he was saying, they want to do a restricted thing, which is basically we have direct control over where it goes. So if we say it's going to go to this person for this research, directly to that, it's going to go there. It's not going to be filtered out to across just the generic.
You do that research before you began?
Yeah, and what you should be doing is telling people that you're doing that when you're asking them to give you money, and not saying we're one of the biggest funding partners for some San Francisco hospital when you haven't given them any money and you have nothing to do with them. Like,
this reminds me. I've never heard going, I've pledged $7 million.
Yes, that's right.
Given anyone any money? Like, I pledged $7 million.
I pledged it,
You've given anyone any money?
But like I said, like, we're working with these big things, we're also working with small sort of things across the world. It's sort of like, but you weren't.
Yeah, you weren't. That's the problem. And he misses the point. The entire point of it, he misses in the apology, is that the money's there. We know the money's there. Right? No one's accusing him of trying to take all of the money or anything. There's now a question of he shouldn't have been using any of it to pay for anything because he said he wasn't going to. That's a problem. But
the other thing that they did point out is he's actually also making money from it, not directly. It's not money that was donated directly, but he's
gained a lot of goodwill.
Promotions. He goes, during this, if you subscribe to me now, any subscribers that now will go to that.
Yes.
Will go to this. But subscribers don't normally cancel straight away. They normally stick around. So if subscribers stick around for a month or two or forever, he's still getting that money. So he's building up his business by
his audience in general, and people thinking he's a good guy and all this kind of stuff. And it's still a bit gross, to be honest.
One thing I will say is Carl came a bit hard out about one thing, and it was about his mother.
I thought that too at first, but then I got his point was that
I do understand. So basically, he was saying that, like, at the start of it, he's going like he brings his mother up into a lot, and yes, he started foundation for his mother, and
because his mum died of dementia.
Yeah, but Carl, I think, just went a little bit too hard there.
You reckon? He basically said it's disgusting that he wheels her corpse out anytime he wants some sympathy. He's done the wrong thing here, and he won't admit it. And the fact that he's even mentioning, because he does, it's almost a non sequitur. He just mentions for no reason, because nobody questioned this. He mentions that his mum died of dementia, and he put the autopsy report like linked on the video, and it's like no one questioned that, mate. Like,
I think that
it was a weird thing to do.
I think what Carl was coming down on the fact he goes like, we donated her brain, we donated her spine, and that was the thing. And yes, you did that, but that's got
nothing to do with it.
Got nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, I think
Carl just went a bit too hard there.
Yeah, all right. I think
just a little bit, but
I think he was obviously really pissed off about the response video.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Don't talk about someone's mum.
No, I know. But
you got other proof. You don't need to bring that up, even if you're right.
But also don't use your
on this one.
But neither of them.
Sure,
he shouldn't have brought up his own mum either. To be fair, like it's not relevant.
Okay, that's fair.
Like he could have. I'm not saying that Carl shouldn't have said anything. I think Carl should have, but I think he went just a bit too far.
Sure. Yeah, he was very harsh.
This brings up a funny point that I think across the board, right? Because obviously you can't champion all causes, right? And when people like come at me in the supermarket and say, "Can you donate to fucking Wilderness Fund?" And I'm like, "No, mate." And they're like, "Oh, you don't care about koalas?" I'm like, "No, I do care about koalas, but I care about cancer more, and I give to that." Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't champion every cause.
Yes,
but we do tend to champion causes that
are close to us,
personally connected to us, right?
Yes, of course.
So like, if your mum died of Alzheimer's or dementia, you're more likely to do that. The ones that I find funny and I get it. But like Michael J. Fox setting up the Institute for Parkinson's disease. And I'm like, of course he did. He's got Parkinson's disease. He would like to not have it. So of course he's going to put millions of dollars into research for finding a cure. He has it.
But he also did a lot of experimental surgeries and stuff as well.
Yeah, that it's not a good example because he's a real champion of that. And he helps other people, not himself too.
And he's a nice guy.
Oh, he's a lovely man. And you can't say a bad word about him. And if you want to cry your fucking eyes out, read his book, his autobiography about living with it. And you find out he had that shit back when we used to watch
legible,
Back
is
to
it?
the Future.
Oh, it's not handwritten.
You got someone else to type it for him. But no, he hid that for a very long time.
Yeah, like when you watch Back to the Future, he had it then.
The only reason I feel comfortable making that joke is because of that episode of.
Because he would.
Because the episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, where he hands Larry David the Coke, and it's all fizzed up, and he goes, "Did you shake this?"
No, I haven't seen that. Is that in one of the later seasons?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. No, I think he would make that joke. Yeah. I'll say this though: the best thing he ever did was Spin City, and it's a shame he had to leave that because that's when it really hit. But fuck, that was a great sitcom. Like that was peak sitcom.
And I think that's where he was hiding it a lot. Like, 'cause he always had his hands in his pocket.
Yeah.
And you found out later when he came out with it, that was the reason why that was a choice in the show.
Evidently, like when it was Back to the Future, Family Ties, it was just a little finger. And as I say, by that point, it was the whole hand. And now it's, way beyond.
That far back? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yes.
So, right.
That far back.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe it was on Family Ties that he noticed he had a weird little finger thing happening.
Wow.
Crazy.
All right. All right. Well, let's move on to something happier. Actually, Luke, do you want to pick the next topic? Since you're...
I haven't looked at what's here. I don't know.
Oh, okay, Luke. Just let me just give you a quick overview. We've got Alex Jones follow-up, right?
Okay.
We've got Israel v. Palestine news, right?
He's not going to be interested in any of that.
We've got Alec Baldwin follow-up. People are angry about him. Or we've got JFK news, if you want a bit of that. Or
the listeners are voting. No more JFK.
We could just talk about Starfield.
As I said, the only time we're going to talk about JFK ever again is when the episode comes out and they announce who did it. Until that happens, we're not talking about it.
We don't have that.
No.
So,
and the rate this podcast is going, and I'll stop talking about it as soon as I say this. At the rate this Rob Reiner podcast is going, I'm not going to believe a fucking word he says at the end. He
is digging himself a hole deeper and deeper every week.
And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Look, I'm not going to say too much more about it, but I will just say I did start watching National Geographic's most recent documentary series. It's called JFK One Day in America. It doesn't try to solve the puzzle, or it certainly hasn't in the first episode, the first of 3 I watched last night. But it has footage that I've never seen before. Beautiful. And it looks like it was like a 4K restoration off of the original.
Shot from the grassy knoll with this gun barrel underneath the camera.
There's nothing new. No, but it's weird because there's so much was filmed in the lead up to this, but so little in the actual moment. But they interview all the bodyguards now. In 2023. They're very, very, they're in the 90s now.
Yeah, they'd be super old.
But it's
because it's not like they're hiring 20-year-olds for the Secret Service.
No,
well, that's what all these interviews on Reiner's podcast are. A lot of them are older people, and that's why it's like why are we? Anyway, Why are we believing
Well,
some
this
of this
one
stuff?
doesn't proclaim to be bringing up anything new. It's just here's another account of what happened on the day by the people who were there. But it's beautifully done. It's beautifully done.
Right, I'm putting my foot down. We're moving on to Florida Joker.
Florida Joker. Yes. Florida Joker's come out this week.
This I know about.
He's demanding money from Rockstar because they have based something in GTA 6 on him. And he's not.
As they have based a lot of Florida shit on, right?
As they have done in many of their games for many years.
But the first thing I thought when I saw this was, if we're talking about, kind of appropriating, people's rights and whatnot, Florida Joker. So what are we talking about here, mate?
Yeah. And also he is suing based on the trailer. The game hasn't come out, just to be clear. He doesn't know how much he's featured, or even if he really is featured. Like, he's not a playable character, right? As far as we know. There's 1 second of footage of him in the trailer. He's asking for $2 million compensation.
He literally got himself tattooed to look like Jared Leto's version of the Joker. What is he talking about?
I see your point, right? I see of all people who are saying that they've been infringed on.
Exactly. What is he talking about? Yeah.
So I forget who came out.
All the Jokers to want to resemble.
There was someone who came out and went,
handsome guy in real life, arguably, but the least good Joker.
Just get your face tattooed to look like Jared Leto. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's right. Just do Jared Leto. Yeah, like I've got a tattoo on my dick of a bigger dick. You know what I mean? Because that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I forget who came out, but someone else came out and went, "You're not going to win against them. Like, people have tried. What you should be doing now is taking the spotlight that is back on you again, because it's sort of gone off you a bit, and making money off that. Don't try and fight them. Try and
the voice actor who plays Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2, the guy's name's Roger Clark, his voice actor. He said, "Rockstar is lawyered up, man. They know exactly what they can and cannot get away with. If I were you, I would use the notoriety they just threw your way to your advantage, capitalize on it somehow, because you're not getting a job at Home Depot with that face."
That's what I was just saying.
I mean, that's true.
Like, because he got into the spotlight from a mugshot. He's a criminal.
Now, just to be clear, is he actually suing them, or did he just put out this TikTok video where he said
he's put out a TikTok video?
Some money. Yeah. We got to talk. You got to give me like a meal or two. This is a quote.
But he's made a few.
Florida Joker ain't having that, y'all. Y'all took my lifeness. Y'all took my life. Quote.
Yeah, he's made a few. I think he's done a few more after that as well. But yeah, I think he's just
get on TikTok.
No, you don't.
You know what? I considered getting back on X recently because I gave up Twitter years ago, and then I came on
Ecstasy?
at one point. I'm on X. I came on at one point just to follow Mark Hamill for a while because he was tweeting some fantastic content.
He's on Threads now, I think.
I don't
go over there
just
instead.
An app just for Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
But I thought now that
Jeremy Renner maybe.
Yeah. Well. Once they put him back together.
No,
but
true.
he it is. I tried to sign back. I just thought I want to watch it burn to the ground.
Sure.
Right? But I tried to sign up. It was difficult. I tried to get my old account back. It was like, we'll send you a password. It never did, and I gave up. So I'm still not on Twitter, guys. So
okay, no worries.
This is just it.
I'm there.
Yeah, I'm there.
You post?
I don't
you guys
do
post
anything
a lot
on
of
it.
content? No.
I haven't posted in a while. I think the last thing I posted was a sad face when somebody died.
I sometimes reply to Nate when I see something he does, and he doesn't like garlic, and we had a bit of a fight about that.
Will show me.
Segue. Speaking of Geeks of the Week, we've got a pretty big Geek of the Week this week.
Yeah.
We do?
We do.
Well, it's not a human being.
No. It's many human beings
that
gathered.
well and truly died. Yeah.
Gathered with one purpose.
Or not
video games
anymore.
No.
I'm going to come out and say they did not die of natural causes. They were murdered.
Yeah, go on.
That
From
is
the
true.
grassy knoll.
Yeah.
No, I've been saying so. It's E3.
E3 is dead,
and I don't think it's not E3.
It hasn't been for a little bit.
Yeah, what's been happening at E3 for a long time? E3 was on, but then every other big studio was doing stuff in LA around E3, but somewhere else.
Yeah. The one. So I've been to E3 once, and I'm actually glad I went because I'm not going to get to go anymore. And it was kind of a dream of mine as a kid. And when we went, Nintendo and Sony were still there at E3, but Microsoft was at another place up the road, which was also fine because we got to go do cool stuff there too. But now none of those guys go. So, you know, what's the point? They don't even go to PAX now.
No. But the thing I found wrong about it is they were still there. Like they were still getting the free advertising of E3 in LA.
Oh, sure.
Come to this event.
Because they're just nearby.
Yeah. So I found that a bit wrong. That's why I say E3 was murdered.
Well, you could argue that with Bethesda do game days when PAX is on, but they don't go to PAX anymore.
Yes.
So, I mean, you can make the same argument. Maybe you are making the same argument.
I am.
All right. Todd, calling you out, mate.
Yeah. You should be, you should be directly affiliated, so still being with them, not just taking from them.
I had a film screened in a film festival called Slam Dance, right, which is on at the same time as Sundance, if you've heard of that, on the same street across the road. And it's in no way affiliated with Sundance, but, you know.
But the name might lead you to believe that it is.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I was at Sundance watching my movie.
Screened across the road from Sundance.
Sundance adjacent.
That's great. But yeah, man, E3, 1995.
Hey, it was good enough for Christopher Nolan's first film. It was good enough for my first film.
Hey, I will say E3 has died before.
That's true.
But it was because of the pandemic, right? Is that what?
And they didn't actually literally come out and declare it dead, did they?
Died before the pandemic.
Okay.
It came back before the pandemic, and then it sort of had a revival, and then went away, went online, and then
we'll see. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't bode well for it because, like I said, we've noticed PAX is getting smaller because I think particularly the big studios know we don't have to go and spend a ton of money to be at these events. Yeah. People are going to buy the games anyway. So
I do like it. It does give a lot of. I do get to look at a lot of the more smaller studio stuff, and I think it's great for that.
Yeah, PAX in particular is good for that. I think
it's really good in Australia. Like shows that we have a really good Australian New Zealand scene that gets sort of overshadowed. A lot of great games come from here.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not necessarily complaining that PAX is smaller because in a lot of ways I kind of prefer it. Without being crushed.
Because I always found it funny, like people will go and line up for like 3 hours to play a game that's coming out next week.
Why?
When you say people, you have done that.
I have not.
Fucking bullshit. Yeah, but
I have not done
the queue
that
because you've been there in a wheelchair.
Dan, I'm sure you recall when we went to the very first PAX for any of us went to, I believe, in Seattle, and we waited. I believe you waited with us in line to watch the Alien.
I certainly did.
What was it? What was that game? Aliens?
Marines?
Yeah, Colonial Marines.
Colonial Marines, yeah.
And Randy Pitchford himself was there, shook our hands, and lied to our faces.
That's right. We were fed a lot of lies at that PAX, actually. I was shown
BioShock Infinite.
I was shown a beautiful game called BioShock Infinite that actually never came out. Another game called BioShock Infinite came out instead. But I was promised a beautiful time travel game set partially in the 80s. And,
there was a sequence where he fights that guy on like in like a pergola thing, like an old man in a rocking chair. That's not in the game.
Do you remember when the time ripped open and he was standing outside a cinema with the marquee that said "Return of the Jedi"?
That's in the DLC now. That sequence is in some of the DLC. Yeah,
I'll say this: Infinite is arguably the worst of the BioShock games. But
okay, I liked it more my second playthrough.
I liked it less
a lot more.
My second playthrough, actually.
Really? Okay.
It's funny. I didn't mind it too much the first time, and then I played it through the second time going, I love the world, but the actual mechanics of this with the hook and everything, I found a bit skew-if. But the DLC, and I haven't played the one with the Return of the Jedi, but the one where it goes back and you actually play the New Year's Eve party.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was some of the best BioShock content of any of the games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't they just make that the game?
I bought all of those on Switch and haven't had a look.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have a look at those.
I remember the first PAX in Australia we went to. We spoke about Star Citizen.
That's right. Yeah.
And about how that game was coming out in like a couple of years. Well, they said about 5 years. Well, PAX is 10 years in Australia, and
we're
still waiting.
It's going to be 11 soon. All right, so we're going to...
PAX, Matt, had Halo Fest attached to it. But I hate Halo, so I went just to piss Luke off and got some pictures taken of me falling asleep during it out of boredom and then sent them back so that Luke could...
so annoyed.
Did you watch that video I sent you of all the guys singing the Halo theme in the bathroom?
Yeah.
I'll link it in the show notes, listeners. That was funny. It's really warmed my little heart. Very funny. So E3, Geek of the Week or not, Luke?
I will say Geek of the Week because it was murdered.
What happens, though, if it comes back again? It's no longer qualifies if it dies again, right?
Hold on. Would this be the first example of a Geek of the Week who has
risen
come back
from the
to
dead?
life? Yeah.
Is this the first inanimate object Geek of the
No,
Week?
it can't be.
No,
it can't be.
No, I
I'm
think
about to say
one
Marley the
before.
elephant, but that's not an inanimate object. That's an elephant.
Yeah. Once it's dead, it's inanimate, mate.
So. True.
They all are.
I don't
So was
remember
Leonard
what, but I think
Nimoy.
we have done.
I'm sure we've given television shows Geek of the Week or something.
We might
like
have.
that. Well, they've at least been up for it.
So we're giving it for now.
We're giving it. So I'll
Did
be
we
happy if
give
it comes
the
back because I want to
car
go.
that NH crashed into that building Geek of the Week? Because I know we didn't give it to her.
I'm going to do the jingle live because I keep forgetting we can do this. All right, ready? E3.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But when
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, you got to stop, otherwise
Yeah,
it'll loop.
out your keyboard and sing it live for us.
Oh, maybe.
It's the way that Bim Bam used to do their ads for
That's right, yeah.
what was it? Restraints?
Extreme Restraints.
Extreme Restraints, yeah.
Those are the golden days of Mabim Bam.
Do they still? Because once they started recording remotely, I feel they lost a bit of the magic. And then when they all just lived at their parents' house and recorded together, that was the heyday for me.
I went off it for a bit. I've heard it's gotten better. I think they went off it a bit too, but they just had to keep doing it because.
Well, they all have other podcasts.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to.
Generally.
I never really listened for a little bit, but I've heard it's kind of back to being pretty good now. So, look, speaking of little clips, I've got just a short little clip that I found this week that made me laugh that I want to play for you. This is quite old, but I had not seen or heard this before. This is just a little clip from the news. Take a listen.
After the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. Excuse me, he's blind. So we'll hear about that. At the end of the break, I'll look at the
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. What a mistake.
Yeah.
Live television.
How embarrassing.
But he's gay. No.
Oh, sorry, he's blind.
isn't.
I meant to say blind.
Nothing to do with that.
Wouldn't
just
be
fuck
impressive
out,
if he
bitch?
was, to be honest.
Wait, have any gays climbed Mount Everest? I assume they have. I assume they just didn't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, because,
Because why would you?
because doing it blind, impressive.
Very impressive.
Yeah. Well, I still find crazy, like people who climb up Mount Everest past dead bodies on their way up.
Well, he wouldn't know. So maybe
He
it's
would've
easier
seen-
if you're blind.
Yeah.
True, because there's nothing to freak you out as you
die. If you die sort of up the summit, it's too much energy to take you back down. So
is that a gay joke, Luke?
Yeah, I've been up the summit. Yeah, or they're up to summit. The friend of mine climbed Everest, and he was the first Vietnamese guy to climb Everest. Oh. He's got some claim to.
Sorry, blind. I meant to say.
Sorry, gay and blind and Vietnamese. He's the first gay, blind Vietnamese man. Hairdresser to have ever climbed.
Amazing.
But he wants to do it with his son in a backpack, right? So that his son becomes the
climb Mount Everest, right? Sorry, I thought we were on there.
He wants to do a gay, blind mountain climber. That's his dream. No, but he wants to do that so that his 3-year-old son is like the youngest to have ever summited.
Oh, that's pretty dangerous, isn't it?
Say no.
He hasn't done it yet.
That's a bit dangerous.
But because he thought it would set the bar so high. You know what I mean? Like, because no one younger than that could ever think of doing it.
Think of it. That kid isn't thinking of it either.
No, in fact, if anything, he's like, Dad, I'm really not sure about this.
No, the way humans work is he'll be the first for 3. Then someone will do 2, someone will do 1, then someone will go, I gave birth on the summit.
Yeah, true.
Oh, yeah.
True. I got impregnated on the summit. And somebody's like, mate, I bet you to it. My sperm has been on the summit for 20 years.
It's just frozen there.
First thing I did when I got there. I was so excited.
God,
and then Buzz Aldrin's like, I got you all beat.
Yeah,
you know where my sperm is.
You think my footprint's impressive.
You know what they say about big footprints?
Yes. Could you just leave the fruit salad, please? Yes. Thank you.
Do they know they're on international internet? Is that what we describe a show like this?
As opposed to...
Wait, well, you say national television, but...
Isn't the inter in internet for international?
Could be, yeah.
I don't actually know what the internet says.
It's the international network, right?
Yeah, probably is, yeah.
Maybe?
That's probably true. We should probably ask Al Gore. I don't know, he invented it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also invented the Al Gore-ism, named after him.
I like that. That's good.
Sorry, they're just taking my lunch away, and I wanted to finish my fruit salad.
Structure that joke, but I just thought it was good. Oh, so they weren't just bringing you a fruit salad?
No.
They were taking away everything but a fruit salad.
Yes. Yeah, because I'll still eat the fruit salad after I finish this.
Yeah, that's fair.
So only time I eat fruit, every 6 months in hospital, I eat fruit salad.
Hospital fruit's the best fruit. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Oh, very good. So have you got some games to play there with you, Luke?
At the moment, I'm just playing really because I can't focus for very long.
Yeah.
So I'm just playing very easy to get achievements like Swap Shot and Robo Lifter.
RoboCop.
No, Robo Lifter. These are.
Oh, I meant the game, but
these are super easy games, like from East Asia Soft and. Radalaker games, which are just super easy to get achievements. I've just got them on Windows, so I'm just cheating to get gamer score.
You got your laptop there, or are you on your A&EO Next?
I got both.
Oh, do you know what I learned this week? We've been talking about this on the previous shows. Steam Deck can run both Xbox Cloud really well and GeForce Now really well.
Don't tell me that.
Ooh.
Yeah. So,
because I also I got an alert yesterday saying that there's one $700 on Amazon right now.
And the other thing is, if you're doing it that way, you don't need a big disk drive in it because it's all cloud.
If you're just doing streaming,
yeah.
Steam.
So, right? I mean, it wouldn't be good for on a plane.
Don't give it the opportunity to.
Yeah. You can't. You have to use it in your home. You can't use it anywhere else.
As we've established, I don't leave my home.
No.
I want it for at home.
Yeah. Unless you had like a 5G connection somewhere on the bus, like maybe it'd work. But
I still wouldn't buy my other leave, but Hannah heard me talk about it and I got in trouble.
How about you buying another one?
Yes.
She's going to hear this as well, you know.
Oh, crap. I need one.
I was talking this way about. I said I might sell my Xbox and my Switch. She said, "Yeah, that's good. You've got too many." I'm like, No,
and buy something
buy
else.
a handheld TC. Yeah, like not to not have them.
Got too many. That's not a thing.
Yeah. I know, right? No, but every time I talk about buying a new console, she's like, "What about your Retroid Pocket 2 Plus?" I'm like, that doesn't count. That's my
that's a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
They announced that Retroid
loves that, though.
Pocket 4.
Yes, 4. Because they did the 3, but then they also did the flippy one.
Oh yeah.
Which didn't interest me. It had a bigger screen, but it's just not as ergonomic. But yeah, the 4. My 2 is still very good though. It drains the battery even when you're not using it. That's the only thing.
It doesn't suspend properly.
Maybe they'll fix that with the 4.
Maybe. But I played it this morning with Harper. My daughter loves it because she loves Master System games because they're so simple.
Yeah,
so
right.
She loves her favorite is Wonder Boy.
You're
a fucking tiny caveman.
The OG one,
All you can do is jump until you get the axe, and then you can jump or throw the axe. It's 2 buttons, but there's also a great trick because obviously the Retroid and most retro controllers have the 4 buttons, right?
Yeah.
But 2 of them are mute because the Master System only had 2 buttons. So I'll go, okay, I'll do these 2, and you do these 2. And she's not doing anything, but she's still pressing buttons, feeling like she's really part of the game. It's quite a good.
This is like that when you give them their own controller, but it's not turned on. Except, I think Lyra was like 1 when she figured out
that one out.
No, this one doesn't work. She just throw it at the TV, and you're like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore.
They learned very quickly.
I heard about that too, but that's not a real life thing.
Yeah,
they know.
They definitely know.
Yeah,
she's good. Lyra's quite good at games now. She's been playing the Bluey game. I know. I think I sent you guys a video, but she's like walking around the house and stuff like that.
Okay, so are you ready to review the Bluey game yet?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's it's a charming little game. I'm not sure I would play it, independently of Lyra.
Okay. So it's not Skyrim, but with Bluey.
No, no. You're in the various Bluey locations. For example, their house, and then the backyard, and then the park, and then and you go around and you collect stickers to put in the sticker book, and then it's a bit like. I guess I'd liken it maybe to the Lego games, but really simplified. And there's no combat or anything. It's all just exploring, but it's very simple. Like it's a kid's game. Oh, I have no idea.
Oh,
check Jenna's profile. You'll be able to see how many she's got from it because we've been playing on her profile.
Is it worth the price? The price has got me a little iffy on it.
I think if you have a kid, it might be worth the price, but
for you, probably not. It's I think it was $40 here for the amount Lyra gets out of it. Yeah. It was. Yeah, it's fine. She asks to play it a bunch.
The first real video game. Yeah.
All right. I'll get it once it goes on sale.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I think that's probably.
I'll get a walkthrough for it.
A Bluey theme park up in Queensland.
Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. My mum sent me that.
Will Bluey still be a thing when they finish
Lyra likes Bluey, not me, Mum.
Well, Bluey's been a thing for a couple of years, several years already, and they're not slowing down. They've got a full-length episode coming out next year. By full length, I mean 30 minutes, because usually they're 6 to 7 minutes. But they've got a long episode in the works.
Yeah, right.
You seen that episode, Matt, where Unicorse finds out that he's a puppet?
Yeah.
And he's heartbroken because he just doesn't even know if he's real.
And he's in love with Chili.
Yeah.
And
he finds out who she's really married to.
Yeah, that's right.
The guy who's puppeteering him. Yeah. But then at the end, Bluey just goes, I think it'd be weird to find out that somebody was controlling you. And then the camera zooms out and it's somebody's like an Adobe Animate suite.
Yeah, and
somebody's like just changing her mouth for the talking bits and stuff. And then it plays back what they just rendered. And then she's like, well, that was weird.
Yeah. Very clever. Very good. Yeah, it's a good show.
I'll watch it one day.
I went back to a game that we've been talking about a bit.
I like it.
I went back to Starfield.
Oh, okay. Is it because the devs of Starfield have convinced you that it was interesting, even though you playing it didn't feel interesting, but they have assured you it is?
It was mostly because, and this is the truth, I had forgotten about it, to be honest. But then all the talk about how it didn't win awards reminded me that it exists. And I was like, well, I liked it. I just forgot. So I went back to it, and in a way, the fact that I didn't remember what I was doing or really even how a lot of it worked was good because I remembered that for some reason I'd become hyper fixated on the fact that I had all these resources and I was just building this ship that was just basically cargo containers strapped to a rocket.
With rockets on it, yeah.
Yeah. And then, so I was like, you know what, this is stupid. I can't even do space battles because I don't have any room for guns.
Yeah.
So I just sold everything.
I had a ship that was only guns, and it was like, you can't take off, mate.
Just shoot the cannons until I'm in the atmosphere. And then I sold everything, and I'm just kind of doing adventures. I was like, why am I fucking around with all this stuff? So I'm just, I'm having fun.
I think that was something that was good in the game. That like, if you like to build ships, it's there. If you like to build bases, it's there. But you don't have to do it.
Yeah. No, I'm selling all that stuff now because I feel like it was just holding me back in a way. So
that's the exact reason I never played Fallout 4 again. Is because every time I thought about the story, I thought, I could play through the story again. And
but you have to get past learning how to build a base and
just that whole, Minuteman teaching you how to set up a water pump and all of that. I'm like, I just don't want to do that.
Because I've played through it twice, and every time you go to that base where they teach you that there's a chair there, there's a water pump, and then that's it. It's just in random places wherever I was.
You know what, actually? The other thing too, and this is a spoiler, so skip ahead a little bit if you don't want Starfield spoilers. What I learned about the end game got me to stop worrying about collecting all of everything.
Oh, okay.
Because, spoilers, hopefully you don't care, Dan. Luke, you already know.
Do not care.
Yep. Once you finish the main storyline, you go back in time, and none of what you did matters. None of the stuff you collected matters anyway, right? Because you don't have it anymore.
Oh, that's what you were saying, Luke, about you just start the game again.
Yeah, you're not back in time.
You're a parallel universe.
Yes.
But back before...
you found out you were.
You could build all these bases and stuff like that, but they're going to be gone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yes. And that's because I watched a video where someone was saying they really should have told people about this. Yeah, exactly. Because some people would be okay with it, but some people might not be okay with it.
Yeah.
Some people spend a lot of time building those bases.
Well, I'm certainly not going to do that now. Because
I've got to go back and mop up a few achievements, but that's it. I finished Alan Wake before I came to hospital. That was one goal I set myself.
Okay.
That was
amazing. Please no spoilers because I'm loving it. And actually, I didn't play it at all last week. I got up to the part where you found the titular character. Yeah, Alan Wake. Yeah. I'm trying not
you
to
can say his name. You've given it away now.
Yeah. I've met Alan Wake. Yeah. And now he's gone off, and I'm just looking around to make sure I didn't miss anything.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, spoilers. There's a lot of exploration.
He's gone off.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Alan Wake is in the game.
Son of a bitch.
No, play it. Finish it. It's great. Watch the music video.
And in fact, the funny thing is, I was I stopped playing it to go to bed the other night, and I was, wanted to watch something, a movie or something, but I was still I had Alan Wake in my head, so I was Googling what movies set in the Pacific Northwest about the FBI and serial killers, and it's raining all the time. Like, what? Go tell me what are the movies? It's such a great environment to be playing in.
It's the game gets better and better as you play it, as you move along.
Yeah, right.
And it's really good how it's split up into small chapters.
Yes.
So if you can actually go, well, here's a chapter, I'll stop playing here instead of trying to find a place to stop. It tells you, have a break.
Mind you, I'm playing like a book, but also about a book. So
and it's also good because if you do go, I want to play one more, the chapters you're not going to be there for another 4 hours or anything. You can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've been playing LA Noire on the Switch, which is very good, and I think they should re-release. Can't talk. They should re-release more games from that era on the Switch because the Switch can handle it without having to downgrade graphics or anything because graphics weren't as sophisticated in 2011 as they are now, right? Perfect console for it. But I'll say this: when you've played it already, it does get a little repetitive. on a second playthrough. Every case, you kind of just go through the same motions, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of nuance, and spoilers if you haven't played it. A few of the main cases, it doesn't matter if you solve them or not, because even if
you're sending the wrong person to jail anyway.
Yeah. So you still progress through the game even if you do poorly. And
interesting, yeah.
It's and I was enjoying it very much, and now I'm finding it quite tedious. I may not finish it. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't think it's good for a second playthrough. A first playthrough is great.
Oh yeah, and it didn't ruin it for me. I've still got great. It's still a great game. I just have played it, and therefore it's not as interesting.
Evidently, there are talks about them looking at making a sequel.
I'd play that.
Awful.
I find most Rockstar games drag on a bit. Like eventually,
I would agree. I never finished the second Red Dead or the third Red Dead. Red Dead 2.
Oh, that was a very long game. The start of
Red Dead 1. Red Dead 1 was very long, but it kept me. The story kind of kept me going in a way that Red Dead 2 just didn't.
It kind of went back to the start. That's my
when he goes back to his family and stuff.
Yeah, and then it's just like, now you're a farmer. I'm like, mate, I've been in fucking shootouts. Why am I fixing the fence now?
Yeah.
But Red Dead 2 was just too big. It was too. Yeah, I mean that stuff was fantastic.
A Bigfoot. There was a Bigfoot in that too.
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed them. But I've got time to finish them, so.
I would have loved to have finished Red Dead 2 because it was an amazing game. Like, there's no two ways to look at it. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I don't think I can go back to it now and continue from where I was, though. I think I'd have to start again, and I'm not going to.
And I tried to do that once, probably 2 years ago.
You cannot start that game again. That opening for that game is like 10 hours.
Remember that? No, you couldn't do that either.
You can't fast travel anywhere.
But pretend you were starting afresh.
Yeah. Before I forget, you reminded me of something. I said like a book. I'm reading a book, and it's a book that you, Dan, read and recommended. It's The City in the City.
Oh, yes.
China Melville.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's getting better the more I read it, which is
it's his best book. I love all his books. I've read them all. I went through a phase about 3 or 4 years ago where I discovered China and was like, why have I never heard of this?
I've never heard of China.
Yeah, I've never heard of China. Yeah. When I read Communist China,
he made all this stuff.
I assume it was talking about Communist China, not a communist author called China Miéville.
He made this, he made this, he made this.
Yeah. Fucking tops.
Yeah, it's good.
There's a British TV adaptation. Don't watch it.
Oh, interesting. Okay, no, I won't.
There's no way you could make this into a successful...
No, I was going to say, I don't understand how you could, because the whole concept of it is very... Yeah. Well, listeners who don't know, it's about two cities that are physically in the same location.
Yes, they occupy the same geography.
Yes, but they are separate cities, and you must maintain that in your life.
It is illegal to make eye contact with somebody in another city.
How do you know they're in another city?
Well,
because
there's ways to know.
Because the architecture is different and the clothing is different, and there is if you grew up there, you just know. And you have to unsee somebody.
If you make eye contact with someone, it's called breach, and it's the highest form of treason you could commit.
Mm-hmm. And if you're in your house and your friend lives next door, but technically that's the other city, you have to leave. You have to get a visa, leave, and go to a city where you can catch a train to the other city. You can't just walk next door.
To a checkpoint. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so you are allowed to travel to the other city.
Yeah.
It's like another city.
And there is one way in the city to get across into the other one, but it's highly regulated. It's for government.
Apple, I need you to make this into a television series.
Yeah,
I think Apple could do it.
Maybe. I feel it'd be difficult, but yeah, maybe.
But it's a murder mystery.
Yes.
So it's about this detective who's crossing over between the cities to try and solve the crime.
Yeah, it's a girl who was murdered in one city and dumped in the other, and they think, how did that happen? And they're trying to figure it out.
So I first heard about China when I was playing Disco Elysium, because they said they got a few of the ideas from a book that he wrote called fuck, can't remember. But it's about a civil war where all the artwork comes to life. And
interesting.
And so you're fighting Mona Lisa and all of these things. But there's little elements from it that they stole wholesale from it to put, like,
right.
He's got pajamas that give him extra powers and stuff. You know, just
right.
to live in house that, you know, your clothes give you different stuff. But yeah, and then I was like, fuck, I'm reading everything this author wrote. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, no, I'm
reading something good at the moment too. So I watched a series recently called A Spy Among Friends, which is very good. It's the true story of two MI6 operatives back in the 60s or 70s who were co-spies and also best friends for 30 years. And then one of them defects to the USSR and you find out that they've been a double agent. And the other one is sent to retrieve him. But he's more upset about the betrayal of their friendship than he is about the treason. And it's very good. But it's a true story, and it's based mostly on a book, a memoir, which I'm also reading now, the same name, Spy Among Friends, which is very, very interesting.
It's sort of sad.
It is sad, but also, yeah, it is. It's because the film, the TV series is kind of mostly based around a conversation between these two guys, like an interrogation. But also they're trying to throw hints at one another covertly, and it is. It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
I'm also still reading, or technically listening to 11/22/63, the Stephen King book about JFK, and it made me laugh the other day because I opened up Audible and it wasn't in my continue playing things. I was like, I'll just search for it really quickly, and when I did a search, it came up, but it also shows the Spanish language version of it on there, which is called 22/11/63.
Yeah,
and I was well, that made me wonder. Is it called that in Australia?
Well, I watched it on.
And it was called 11/22/63.
Yeah, I watched it on something that was international. Let's say.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
You watched it in Tortuga.
I watched it in Tortuga, which is
probably would be the correct way here.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
I just thought it was very funny.
But then again, I mean, there's a like, maybe that's just the name of it, and they wouldn't change it. I mean, there's certain things like we say Z instead of Z, but we don't say Dragon Ball Z here. You know, like.
No, but what it actually says is, right, so the American version is 11/22/63, and when it's got the Spanish language one, it says 22/11/63, and then in brackets 11/22/63.
No, just to be more confusing instead of less confusing.
Just made me laugh.
Yeah.
America will catch up with the rest of the world one day.
Oh, we will not. We refuse.
No, they won't. No.
We refuse.
Yeah.
I reject the premise that we need to catch up with anybody.
That's right. You're behind us, cunts.
Exactly.
Yeah. Have some money, Israel.
Don't get political.
Until
the after party.
And I won't get political, but we do have some Israel-Palestine conflict news. We don't, but it's something funny that involves that. It's not funny.
Good, because I have no idea what.
But I love it.
This is a sell for the after party, is it?
There's been almost 100 years of conflict in the Middle East between the Arabs and the Israelis, right? Almost 100 years, and for 100 years, the whole world has gone. It's very complicated. It's very complicated. Like, there's no winner. There's no right and wrong. It's not like the Nazis where it's, we got to fight a bad guy. Everyone's like, it's very complicated. And then fucking millennials, Gen Z, fucking
pick a side
for the first time, and they're like, fucking get out of Palestine, you fucking imperialist cunts. And and everyone in the world is now pro-Palestine. It's very. I find it interesting.
No, I'm with you. We don't have to talk about it too much, but I also was very I got whiplash at the beginning because obviously when it happened, the instigating incident happened. Everybody was obviously very, very the other direction.
Well, it was a terrorist attack, right?
No, I know, but literally the whiplash of it.
Yeah,
it was just like
it was like, no, you shouldn't behead babies.
And of course.
Like, we had to behead those babies, and here's why. And everyone was like, well, that's not cool.
Yeah. Anyway. It is very complicated. So if you want to
hear how this affects retail, join us in the after party.
Oh. What's the after party?
After party / multiple nerdgasm /
shit. No. I can't register that. multiplenerdgasm.com/afterparty, which I'm going to put a to-do in right now because I don't think that works. But I will make sure it does work.
No, multiplenerdgasm.com/the-after-party.
For fuck's sake, that's a different one.
Just go out, just Google after party and see what comes up.
After party.
Just the first link, that's the one.
The after party. Or just go to patreon.com/multiplenerdgasm.
That'll be a lot easier.
And for $1 a month, you can join the Patreon, support the show, get early access to the show, and also some behind-the-scenes stuff and whatnot from time to time. We post things on there. For $5 a month, you get the after party, which is where we just keep talking for, I'd say, at least 15 minutes, usually, and often more
lately,
than that.
But we don't
30
promise
minutes
more,
from time to time.
You never know.
And Luke's still
so
here.
We might talk about that. Yeah, Luke's still here. He's
somehow
with us. So we'll talk about Israel versus Palestine. We'll solve that problem.
God. All right.
We'll solve that. But also, you asked Luke about dreams earlier. I find it very tedious when people tell me their dreams because dreams are so abstract. But I had a dream the other night that
forget yours.
That I just wanted to share with you guys, and I haven't told you what I dreamt.
Was I good?
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe in iTunes to receive episodes automatically. We'll see you next time.